was the meal. May I differ slightly and evoke Chinua Achebe? A leader does not invite his kinsmen to a meal because they are starving. The likes of Chief Kola Jamodu, Mr. Tony Elumelu, Chief Onyama, Chief Mrs. Stella Okoli, Tunde Folawiyo, they are not starving. It may be a bit tough at the moment, but they are here and they have been invited because Mr. President believes in consultation, collaboration, cooperation, and he is running a government and an economic system that is based on the success of the private sector. The attempt to stabilize the process of getting the economy stabilized is so that you, the domestic investors, first of all, can have an environment to invest, increase productivity, grow the economy, create jobs, and thereby achieve Mr. President's ultimate goal of reducing poverty in our beloved country, Nigeria. Now, at the macroeconomic level, you have mentioned the CEO of Unilever said it most recently, the major measures that were taken to really turn around the economy. And you know, the driver, Tony Elumelu, he too has now seen something that he can hold on to as a measure of progress. All the other things that are being done are not so obvious, but the exchange rate to the driver and everybody else is. And as you say, it's an improvement in the foreign exchange system. And I would just like to use that all-important measure. Much kudos to the whole governor of Central Bank and the team. But it is about teamwork. And Tokwe talked about the pain of the stake. There's still a lot to be done. So, for example, everybody had been looking for for collaboration between monetary and fiscal to get the economy moving in the right direction. When the governor of Central Bank indicated and projected an inflation rate of 21.4%, it means that if you're to give people a reason to hold the naira, you have to go above that rate, but there's a cost. In a nutshell, 8 trillion naira in securities was made available so the inflow of foreign exchange could follow at relatively high rates. 1.1 trillion from central bank, another 7 trillion from the federal government's issue of treasury certificates and bills. And of course, we have to be ready to accept the challenge of the higher debt service. And it's just an example that the collaboration that we need, what we have to do, will have a cost to it, which we must be up for the challenge. Amina, you talked about inclusivity. Mr. President had promised that in making the bold measures that were needed to turn around the economy, the poor, the vulnerable, the weak will not be left behind. And that's why, give or take, our opinions, some people feel that direct payments actually can have an effect if they're well done. There was, apart from helping the agricultural sector, food production immediately through interventions, the next was the poor, payments, grants to nano industries, and of course, what has taken a bit longer, mass transit at a cheaper rate through CNG fueled vehicles. Well then, how about you in this room? In an inclusive intervention, there must be something for the larger scale companies, and we know what the exchange rate has done to you, what it has done to your P&Ls. So there is the Presidential Economic Coordination Council, the President's economic team, plus you in the same room, working things out. And the situation is such, as was said earlier, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we need to get closer to it and quicker. So, in the next 2 weeks, there's an emergency task force made up of the President's economic team, plus the subnationals, the governors, the representatives of the Governors Forum, plus you, the private sector, working non-stop to turn out a plan that will, over the next 6 months, implement measures for the social sector, for you businesses, so that you can get past this difficult stage and start growing again. And of course, in order to keep the faith and do our own bit, the government sector has increased revenue by digitization and application of technology. It has cut expenditure by revamping the process of payments. And in addition to that, it is committed to continuing to reduce the budget deficit, cut ways and means, and so on and so forth. So it is a comprehensive plan, not just one measure here and there. And a major role is to be played by the private sector. And I thank you on behalf of Mr. President for the grueling, robust, hard work that you will do over the next couple of weeks or so. And I congratulate you in advance for the plan to take Nigeria forward that we will all put together in the nearest future. Thank you. God bless.
Honorable ministers, industry chieftains that are all gathered here, good evening, everyone. Last week at the Federal Executive Council, Mr. President rolled out an initiative, Renewed Hope Infrastructure, to deal with infrastructure in a bigger way, in a more organized manner, such that the infrastructure deficit consistent with our absorptive capacity will be addressed. But he equally warned in that cabinet meeting that his birthday is coming up and he doesn't want celebration. Those who want advert or celebration can give to the poor. I think that is profound. But just this evening, not that we are gathered for birthday, light at the end of the tunnel from Stella Okoli, renewed hope from Amina Ayabola, and a crashed airfare ticket to London, I'm sure would be a birthday gift that he will have wished to receive. But since he warned about, but I think that is the kind of thing a leader wants to hear. And it shows that when he engaged with the private sector, both before and after the campaign, they looked at his eyes. And in the mold of Aikwe Armas, the beautiful ones are not yet born, they saw commitment. And they repeated what they saw. And not surprisingly, we are here today in a short time. Mr. President is very clear. He's a person of profound intellect. I'm sure those, Tony has said it, those who had known him before, he's bold, he's a dreamer. He's equitable in the way he's reasoned, a Nigerian to the core, who at once, as Lagos governor, was able to support the dreamers who want to be billionaires. While at the same time, as Alan Oyema said, he didn't lose sight of the other end to include those who, without what he has done in including the allies, maybe Lagos would not have been livable. And that is an experience in inclusion which can serve us today. Mr. President's message is simple. He wants to build a Nigeria where those who believe in Nigeria will be richly rewarded. And I'm sure we are on our way. Starting with the renewed hope agenda is very, very clear. Macroeconomic stability that will support investments, private investment, that will include all, that will create opportunities for all, that will enable us to take our place in the Committee of Nations. Very, very proud with a strong absorptive capacity. When he wrote in Financialism, he had the dream of somebody who believes that where Nigeria should be is in trillions coming in, not billions. And I'm sure with what we are seeing from rating agencies, what we are seeing from international institutions, we are on course. And from a national planning point of view, which is the custodian of the Renewed Hope agenda, and I'm sure that is what you like to hear, is that we pay the cost. We are very, very clear in our strategy. We are not mistaken that occasionally we will encounter hiccups, but that's life. We will overcome them. We have encountered hiccups, maybe the worst ones in the last few months, but we are on our way to a plan-based governance led by Mr. President with initiatives designed to quickly and urgently support manufacturing, support agriculture, support mining, support creative arts and economy, blue economy, all those areas where, given the right attention that they are getting now, can absorb hundreds of billions of dollars of investment and support our quest for double-digit growth where we will be at. So I know that it has been a long evening, but I will end with praying for Mr. President, because one constant personality in the Abrahamic scriptures, Torah, Bible, and the Quran is Abraham himself, Prophet Abraham. May Allah be pleased with him. And his prayer was that may Allah grant him honorable mention. One of the clearest evidence of honorable mention was when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, almost 900 years after Abraham, was instructed by God in the Quran to seek blessings like Abraham was blessed. Mr. President, as you gathered us here today, as you have energized yourself to give leadership to this country, may God give you honorable mention.